All right, next we have the analysis plan for the dependent samples t-test, and we're going to use the latte cappuccino example to go over these different steps. Step number one is to assess whether assumption / requirements 1 and 2 have been met. Requirement 1 is checking whether the analysis variable is interval or ratio. And in our case, it's ratio because it's the number of purchases. And then for requirement 2, we're looking to see if data are in the form of repeated measures or related samples. And as we established earlier, we have pairs of observations, latte purchases and cappuccino purchases. So we have repeated measures. Now for step number 2, we will check for outliers in the difference variable. And the way we do that is first, we calculate a new variable representing the difference between the two measures for each person. And then we'll convert that to a z-score and look for outliers from their distribution. And we could look for those outliers by looking at a histogram or looking at z-scores. And in this case, we have z-scores for 208 different scores right here. And the cutoff for outliers would be the absolute value of 3.29, which, as you can see, we don't have anything that goes beyond that. So we have no outliers in this data set. Next, we check that the differences between paired observations are normally distributed. And there are a couple of different ways to test for this. You could examine the histogram for the new difference variable you created from the previous step, or you could prepare a QQ plot, or you could just calculate the skewness. And if you recall from earlier, we will move forward with the analysis if the skewness is not more than the absolute value of 2. And in this case, we have negative 0.21, so we're good to go there. So with all of that met, now we're ready to perform the statistical test. And this would be the output from that. We have the descriptives, and you already saw this information from earlier. The mean for latte purchases was 2.26, and then cappuccinos was 1.97. And then now we're going to look at the paired samples t-test output. And this part right here tells you that it's comparing latte and cappuccino. And then here are the relevant numbers right here. And this describes what those are. So let me connect each one. So letter A, the calculated t-value, well, that's going to be this under the statistic column. So we'll just say A. And then B would be the degrees of freedom. Whoops. Oh boy. Pressed the wrong button. All right, so degrees of freedom right here. And then C is the probability of getting a T of 3.0205 if the null hypothesis were true. So that's the p-value right here. And then the mean difference, the average, or the mean difference here, this column, that would be the average of the differences across all pairs. So latte minus cappuccino, so that's the difference here is 0.2885. That's part D right there. And then the confidence interval is right here, lower and upper. Whoops. All right. In the next video, let's interpret the results.